Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek Takeaway. Today we're joined by Leon Coetzer, CEO of Jubilee Metals. Welcome back, Leon. How's things?
All good. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for the opportunity again.
So Jubilee just announced the securing of one of Zambia's largest copper waste rock assets, estimated to contain over 350 million tonnes of material with potential for more than 2 million tonnes of copper. In partnership with Abu Dhabi-based International Resources Holding RSC Limited, you have formed a special purpose vehicle to fund the acquisition and processing of this waste rock dump. Jubilee will be responsible for designing, implementing and operating the processing solution aimed at producing over 20,000 tonnes of copper annually. This project aligns with Jubilee's commitment to sustainable mining and value creation, leveraging their expertise or your expertise in metals processing in collaboration with IRH's strategic focus on mineral assets. The total acquisition cost is $30 million US, payable over 18 months, with Jubilee set to complete full resource definition and development work within this period. It's a culmination of 4 years of hard work by the Jubilee team, Leon. So you must be delighted to get this one over the line.
That's exceptional, Phil. We've identified this asset right at the start when we entered Zambia. We knew that as we're honing our skills on tailings or historically processed tailings, that there were a few crown jewels that we were really after, where we could demonstrate what our capability is. This particular resource being a waste rock resource, it means it's never been processed before, contains copper that was discarded by the mining at the time, and the sheer expanse of the resource, to try and visualize a resource of this size stretching across 8 square kilometers. And we speak of 20,000 tons as a target, but that's just assuming we put it on 4 process modules. That 20,000 tons can be scaled to a far greater number, especially in partnership with a company as the IRH, as you've just mentioned, from Abu Dhabi, that we have been fostering close ties with, recognizing their focus that they are pursuing in copper and specifically in Zambia.
Absolutely. So, obviously, this isn't the first announcement related to the slag projects. You obviously had previously, about a month ago, you announced the Mufulira slag project. But this one, this Zambian one you've just announced with RH is significantly larger in terms of material volume compared to the aforementioned Mufulira. And obviously the Mufulira one focuses both on copper and cobalt, but obviously primarily the Zambian one is copper. So just talk about the differences in terms of the concentrations of copper there, the scale of it, and also the financial impact to the company.
Oh, absolutely. The two fundamentally different. We as we spoke last, Jubilee has 2 strategic areas where we look to implement what we've developed in waste. You've got waste that's previously been processed and dumped, of which the Mufulira slag is a classical example. It's gone through processing, it's gone through smelting, and then creates the discard. And that is what the Mufulira slag is about. This particular project we speak of today, this waste rock dump, has never been processed, simply rejected by mining. And you are right, we're speaking of a 13 or odd million resource in Mufulira slag versus a 350 million resource in this waste rock. Capital-wise, execution-wise, fundamentally different. The waste rock dump, perfect suiting modular plants we've developed, one of which is going in at Rowan concentrator. Perfect for that application, for that run-of-mine virgin rock that we seek to process through these modules. We can modularly deploy the solution onto this waste rock dump, whether we're putting down 4 modules, 5 modules, or 6 modules. Really depends on the pace at which you roll out that solution. Mufulira slag is very different. A technical solution is more complex to extract that copper, and the investment criteria to invest and extract that copper and cobalt is far higher than what this modular rollout offers us on the waste rock dump. Very, very exciting, very low capital if you're going to stage your implementation, but equally with the ability of IRH behind us, we can put down 4, 5, 6 modules simultaneously to extract that copper of that waste rock dump, so that we can scale to 20, 30, even 35, 40,000 tons of copper per annum on a singular resource of this magnitude.
So we're looking at now a complete and utter game changer, because we've gone from talking on our last podcast of copper, of trying to get up to 20,000 tons a year. And I was asking you the question, how are you going to process that because you've only got 14,000 tons of availability to process the copper. You added that there was lots more processing capabilities within Zambia, obviously knowing this before we did. So going forward, how do you see this happening? Because we're now talking about 50,000 tons of copper a year. Now, I think Zambia itself wants to produce 2 or 3 million tons of copper per year. You know, you could be a big proportion of this. So how do you see this all unfolding?
Well, there's a strategic play here that's happening. You're absolutely correct. On the one hand, what we are showing the industry, what we are showing the government, and what we're showing the greater market is our ability now to roll out and give such clarity on the roadmap to achieving not only 20, but well beyond 20,000 tons of copper per annum through waste rock and waste processing ability. By bringing in a partnership such as the IRH as our partner, just to, maybe people don't make the connection, the IRH also was announced last week, Friday, is this a company who is successful in securing the Mopani company, Mopani Copper Mines. So going forward, the IRH will be the owner of Mopani Copper Mines. That means there's a partnership potential that exposes us to a company who has a refining capacity of nearly 300,000 tons of copper per annum. So we are able to look at various scenarios now. One is continuously expanding our own refining capacity. The other is to access that capacity through a toll refining agreement that enables us to expand our copper production well beyond the refining capacity owned directly under our group. And that's what this partnership unleashes. They, of course, IRH has aspirations of achieving far greater copper exposure than even just Mopani offers them. And to be associated with that offers us the opportunity to far more rapidly expand our copper production profile and not just limit that to Zambia necessarily.
Yeah, it really is a game changer. I mean, we use that word maybe too frequently, but it is going to allow, in my view, Jubilee to become that billion-pound company pretty rapidly, to be honest. I mean, in terms of the amount of copper there, you're talking about 2 million tons of contained copper. Now, based at the rate that you've said in the RNS, which is 20,000 tons, quickly doing the maths, that lasts a long time. That's 50 plus years. So the reality is that surely 20,000 tons of copper is only the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. Spot
on. Even on this site is what I mean. I mean, is it beyond the bounds of possibility that this site can produce 100,000 tons of copper a year?
Well, that's what you just touched on is the reality of when you have a resource of this magnitude. As our sampling campaign launches in great detail to unpack the various zones of copper contained in this resource, it offers you that scalability, only limited by capital, which now is being addressed by this partnership, to scale to various additional process modules. The beauty of the process modules that have been designed and the timing of being able to complete that development is perfect to allow us to then have a view, as you've just mentioned, whether we're putting down 4 units or 6 units or 8 modules over the next 18 months or 12 months as we roll them out onto this asset, which allows tremendous scale of this solution. And this is just one waste rock dump we've secured. This certainly isn't all of waste rock dumps that is available. And we are really looking forward to demonstrate to the industry this is how you process and extract material out of a resource which is expected to be variable in grade from the years that created it. And that's addressed through our modular processing solution for this. So you're right. I mean, one can expand 2-fold, 3-fold across such a resource. This and backed by the potential access of vast refining capacity to support the implementation of this solution.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned 8 kilometers. I mean, there's nothing stopping there literally being a processing plant every 1 kilometer, and each one of them will last 20, 25 years, I would imagine. So it really is mind-boggling in terms of size just for the one project. How do the finances add up then in terms of what Jubilee will get from this special purpose vehicle?
Yeah, so the structure of this funding really starts defining Jubilee's fundamental strategy as a group known for its technical development ability, known for its operational skill, and then partnering with companies to deploy that skill onto assets. That's the structure going forward. It means this particular structure is a classic example where we partner with an entity to form a special purpose vehicle where we carry no fundamental capital exposure to the implementation and bringing into operation of the solution. We are appointed to develop, design, and implement and operate the solution on behalf of this special purpose vehicle, which of course we do at a charge. And for all of that, we secure a position in this special purpose vehicle, which is secured. That position is at minimum 30% of that special purpose vehicle. And in addition, we operate, manage, and run that special purpose vehicle. So our technical services and operational services are provided under commercial terms to the various assets like the special purpose vehicle we hold a significant position in.
So that's going to allow you to cover an awful lot of your fixed costs within Jubilee, you would imagine, by being able, in Zambia, by being able to charge the going rate for all of that work that you will have to carry out.
Yeah, very much so. It gives you a formula that allows you to rapidly, expand into more such projects. This is one of hopefully many we'll be securing as we're able to deploy our services, as you've said, have a very significant position in the deployment of these projects, but yet not carrying the capital liability of the implementation of these projects. So it allows Jubilee to rapidly expand its operational footprint and not limited by our own capital that we deploy into these projects. And you're right, of course, it means that our technical services and operational services, in addition, becomes profitable centers, offering their services to assets where Jubilee holds a significant position in.
Yeah, it sounds like my analogy is that IRH are buying all the houses, you're doing them up, and you're splitting the rent.
Yes, that's a great analogy. And we are doing that because we are recognized as the company through our skill and track record that we are the best at doing that.
And based on what the RNS says, which is 20,000 of tons per annum, you're looking at that being worth about 170 million US dollars. So, 30% of the net of that is probably going to be 30, 40, 50 million EBITDA by the time all the expenses have come out as well. So that's going to be a game changer in itself. If that goes to 40,000, 60,000, 80,000 from the same thing, then basically you become a copper company.
Well, we do that. And also, Kevin, just on that formula you've just shown, it shows also a recipe for how to engage with global mining companies on their portfolio of waste and rock. It's a tested, tried example of this is how you employ or work with a company like ourselves who has the ability and the track record of developing these solutions and taking a significant exposure to the project without the capital liability that comes along. So the numbers you give makes it even more significant when those numbers are able to be delivered with no or very, very limited capital exposure to realize those numbers.
Yeah, and ultimately you're going to become I see that you're going to become a major alongside majors, because the majors, Glencore, Rio Tinto, BHP, whoever you want to name, have all got huge amounts of these stockpiles all over the world. And, you're going to be able to partner with those people and become the major reclamation company, if you like, to get this copper out of the rocks that already exist. No mining required.
Oh, very much so, Kevin. And the key for these major companies is to have a trusted partner with a track record. And that's what we're developing and demonstrating, actually.
It's going to be exciting times over the next 12 months, 24, 36. And I can see it. I can see the path. I hope others can see the path as well. And we wish you good luck. And this is, congratulations. This is a fantastic deal.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, Leon Coetzer, CEO of Jubilee Metals. Thanks very much for your time.
This podcast was brought to you by Roast PR Limited. If you would like to appear on a future episode of the Sunday Roast, please email admin@thesundayroast.net.